The drop is here. Bitcoin is down in the low $26,000 range. Are we going to be dropping further towards 25k? Is it possible to recover this back up? Let's cover all of the possibilities in this YouTube video. I'm fucking pissed off today, guys, because I actually had a Bitcoin short order right here at the very top, but I was $100 off. My order was at 27.6 and Bitcoin only went up to 27.5. So VIPs saw all of the details of that trade. I told them where I'd be going short and why and so on and so forth. But anyway, it didn't happen. Bitcoin just dumped before that, and it's produced quite a few results here that I want to cover with you. The first thing is that this is exactly what we expected. Okay, we were covering this for a long time. Bitcoin was in a very bearish situation. I've shown you the 4Flies dashboard, which was also quite concerning as far as the signs that I've got over here go as well. If we look at the fear and greed index, we're still quite high. If we look at the long and short ratio, okay, this has pulled back a lot now, but we were looking at like 2 longs for every short position for retail traders. Top traders also heavily long as well. We had all the signs telling us that the market should be dropping down, and what's happened now is we've fallen out of this. If I remove these red lines, we've very, very clearly fallen out of this rising channel, guys. I mean, this is your very typical staircase pattern where we move down, we kind of correct upwards slowly a little bit, and then we continue the trend again, okay? And we haven't done the final step, which is sweeping the low. I'm not counting this wick right here, but we haven't actually swept the low yet. We are at the low, so there is a potential for this to be a double bottom, and then Bitcoin could potentially trade to the upside. But for now, what this also means is if we look at this triangle and remove this channel, we did also have a fake out to grab liquidity up here. Obviously some late longs potentially entering up there, getting stopped out on this drop now, and this is your classic, again, bearish trend, bearish continuation pattern, bearish continuation actually happening, right? The actual follow through coming in as well. So really, I mean, still nothing unexpected here. What we're looking at now, I think, is where the opportunities are. Okay, the best opportunity was up here. I was prepared to trade it, and I had outlined the trade. I was ready to get in, considering all factors, and yeah, it just didn't go as high as I needed it to, which is completely fine. I do want to highlight to you guys that I made this trade on the platforms that are linked down below, but none of my web pages are actually loading up right now. I do want to highlight this to you guys. For those of you that are interested, you've got some amazing bonuses available, over $70,000 when you sign up to the exchanges linked down below. BingX will allow you to trade crypto, but also buy stocks like Apple, Tesla. You can buy oil and gold in the S&P 500. You can trade them with leverage without KYC. No pictures of yourself, no pictures of your ID. So those of you that are a little bit more privacy minded, you're going to be preferring that. And if you want up to $30,000 in free trading ammunition, just free money that you can deploy into the market, any profits that you generate with it are yours to withdraw. You can do that by signing up to Bybit with the link down below. So definitely check them out if you are interested in taking advantage of the market. Now is the time. Actually, the time was months ago to be prepared for this kind of stuff, but here we are anyway. I'm telling you about it now. If you haven't taken advantage of these beautiful offers, then do yourself that favor and check them out. The double bottom here is interesting. If we are able to find some support here, then again, we're just going to be looking to tag resistance. But because we kind of established a lot of sideways trading right here with some pretty decent support, I am going to expect that this area becomes resistance. So this isn't the kind of thing that I would want to short, but the thing is, and the reason that I entered the short orders in the market was just because of all of these indicators that were offering resistance. And the problem that Bitcoin is going to face now, I think, is that if it does come back up, these indicators that offer resistance are going to keep coming lower and lower, right? So we've got the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud here, but we've also got, for example, the daily EMA ribbon. We've also got this, which is potentially going to be problematic for the market. It has already been rejecting Bitcoin very clearly. These are all of the things that I was warning you guys about continuously in every single video. I've actually been saying mostly the same thing in each of my videos because it's, the picture hasn't really changed. And so with all of this resistance kind of weighing over Bitcoin's head, that drop down to 25K, it just looks like it's going to have to happen now. And again, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. There's so much support down here. If we look at the Ichimoku cloud, we're in a huge support cloud right now. I mean, this is where, I can't stress this enough. Bitcoin had a beautiful rally. We went from $19,700 when everyone thought I was the idiot for saying Bitcoin's going to go up, to $31,000. Okay, we went up by more than 50% from that low, and we doubled from the absolute low that we set. And now we're just having a pullback, you know, and it really is just a pull. If you just kind of look at, you know, like how high we've gone and comparatively how low we're going now, it's just not that bad, you know. And the best case scenario is that you produce these drops directly into support areas like the Ichimoku cloud. So 100% of what I want is happening on this chart right now, and I'm very happy to see it. The S&P 500 continuing that on for me. We've seen a lot of volatility here as well. This is not what I was expecting though. We've come crashing back down below this area of support, and we are now back range bound. So this actually confirms one of the things that, to be honest, I thought was less likely, which is that, and I didn't even talk about it because I thought it was less likely, but it was all about the debt ceiling, and that, you know, that news is looming over our heads now. It's like a week or two away until, you know, we're gonna see some sort of development there, and it's pretty bearish for markets, you know, according to a lot of people. So I think what we're seeing right now is the kind of lead up into that hype. Usually with these kind of things, one of our VIP members actually asked me like what I was thinking about it, or I don't know if he asked me, but we were talking about it anyway, and my opinion on the debt ceiling, for those of you that are interested, is quite straightforward. You know, there's always some sort of doom and gloom thing, the first ever, the biggest ever, the worst ever, you know, especially when it comes to big governments like the United States governments, that, you know, it's always just kind of getting worse, and there's always, like, you know, big doom and gloom headlines like this. But in reality, guys, you don't actually get, like, you don't actually feel any of the results of these things in your life until a long time has gone, right? And I'll give you the great example of this, which is the COVID money printing. We had a lot of money printing happening in 2020. There was a lot of, you know, just stimmy checks, and also, you know, I mean, in the UK it happened, in the US, I mean, it was everywhere. Everyone's getting free money, you know, money was being printed and so on. And we didn't actually kind of suffer. No one actually suffered any of the consequences of that until, you know, the end of 2021, until 2022, until this year, 2023. This is when we're paying for the mistakes that the government made in 2020 and so on. And that's what I think we're gonna see here. It just never happens where, like, something changes overnight, and then overnight everything is different in the world of finance for you and everybody else. Like, it's rare that happens. We save that stuff for the movies. Real life is more boring than that. Real life just moves slowly. You don't really notice you're getting fucked. Inflation fucks you a little bit. Taxation fucks you a little bit. And, you know, you're just kind of getting attacked from every side, but you don't really notice it. That's how the facade stays up. But anyway, no more on that, because I'm going to convince you guys to move to Dubai with me and start paying no taxes. So so there we go. I'm not going to speak on this on this anymore, but you know, that's my opinion there. And what this looks like is, yeah, the market might be kind of leading into that right now, and I think that this is, you know, going to be the result of the dollar continuing to climb up. I mean, this is exactly what I was predicting for you guys. I mean, if you've been watching my YouTube channel for, you know, the last few days, weeks, I mean, it's been exactly what I've said. You know, with the dollar right here, with the S&P 500 as well. We came off this low. I told you if we break this resistance, we're probably coming up here. If we break this resistance, we're probably going up here. This is a resistance area for the dollar, the way I'm seeing it. We've seen some clear rejections and clear support around this level. So this is a key level that I'd expect the dollar to potentially retrace at. And that could spell some relief for Bitcoin as well, right? Like, this is the thing, is like Bitcoin has definitely been poised to come down to 25K for a while from this high, you know, and it's been quite a while since we set this high to the current day. We are now, you know, 40 days ahead. So it's been quite some time since we've set this high, since people have been talking about 25K, and it just doesn't seem to happen. And, you know, it could be one of those things where the market is really pushing for that to not happen. And if we're starting to see some signs come together now, which are actually bullish for Bitcoin, then yeah, it might be that, you know, there is some sort of weird force preventing Bitcoin from falling lower. And you know, one of the things that could kind of reverse this now is the dollar being at resistance. You know, the dollar has trended up by quite a bit now. It's basically more or less moved uninterrupted for, you know, I mean, since this rally kind of started, which I'm going to say was coming off this low. So, you know, we're talking kind of 3 weeks, 21 days, because, by the way, this doesn't calculate the bars properly. So, because it doesn't count the first one. So, you know, I mean, it's certainly due for a pullback. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that the dollar can just really fly, right? I mean, you know, the dollar doesn't need to, you know, necessarily have retracements on the way up. A lot of the time it just has a big rocket ship higher, you know, and it might form some sort of retracement, but definitely small, right? If the dollar did this kind of retracement now, you know, Bitcoin might only go up to 27K. It really wouldn't make much difference in this market, you know. And so I think that you know, we want to see the bigger kind of pullback. We want to come down to here at least, or even sweep the low. If we sweep the low, that's major bull for these markets. But right now we are moving in the direction of, yeah, potentially. I mean, there's quite a bit of strength going into this. I'm not going to read too much into it because I can't. You know, it's the dollar. It's the dollar index. So it's not really something that I'm going to draw a million lines on, but these basic horizontal levels do work. You know, they clearly work. You can see yourself that we've seen, you know, predictable reversals happening at these predefined levels. So naturally, I'm going to expect resistance here. You know, if we do get it, then that would be good for the market. And if we don't, then I'll be expecting resistance up here. And I certainly don't think the dollar is going to be getting all the way up here. Yeah, I mean, sorry, higher than this, because, you know, that would require a healthy climate for the dollar. And that's just not something that we have right now. So, you know, this to me is all kind of temporary, you know, fuckery going on. Basically, I don't think that we're gonna see the dollar kind of continuing to rally up and becoming the world's most dominant currency, or it already is, but, you know, being even more dominant and regaining its dominance that it had, you know, 2 decades ago. I just don't think that that's where we're at right now. So I have to expect the dollar to continue rallying, to continue dropping down overall, and that does translate to some positive developments for Bitcoin. So let's talk a little bit more about this now, and where I think Bitcoin could go. If we look at the $25,000 level right here, you know, again, this is going to be the main level. This is where we found some key resistance, and it's the highest level of resistance that we have, you know, basically now. Well, I'm sorry, the highest level of support that we have right now. You know, so it's the level that I think makes most sense for Bitcoin to fall down to. You know, and the issue is, if we do kind of, you know, end up falling all the way down here, you know, there is quite a large chance that, you know, I mean, you got to think a lot of people had their long positions, right? I mean, one of the main things that I didn't shut up about in the last few weeks, because I mean, this is the thing that's, you know, this is the part that's frustrating about my job, is that I might see something that's going to happen in real life, right? And I might be right about it. In this case, I was right about it. But it takes a long time to see that happen, right? Like, it takes like maybe 20 days of me saying the same fucking thing every single day. And then day 21, it actually happens. Which means for the first 20 days, it's almost a bit frustrating. But anyway, I've been training for 6 years, so I get I understand the game now. You know, I've been around for a little bit. I'm okay with it. But, you know, as a YouTuber and as a young guy, I am impatient. So I wish we could see the resolutions a little bit faster, but we've seen the resolution now. And the thing to keep in mind, the development on that analysis I was sharing with you over the last few weeks, shout out to those of you that were subscribing, staying tuned to all of that, and those of you that hit up the bell icon so that you do actually get this content when it's released, because it is very time sensitive. The development on that analysis, I was previously telling you there are too many longs, is that longs need to be closed, okay? And we're seeing this kind of scale back a little bit now already. I think that with these kind of sharper drops that we're seeing right now, you know, obviously a part of it is just people that are bearish on the market selling, but I honestly think a big part of it is these long positions are closing, and the only way, you know, if you have bought an asset, the only way you can close that position of buying the asset is by selling it. You have to throw it away. So, you know, the only way to close a long position is by selling Bitcoin. Okay, and when you sell Bitcoin, you're pushing the price of Bitcoin down. So this is where it gets kind of crazy, right? Like, you don't really even understand. You're not even aware of this dimension of analysis until somebody tells you about it. But when somebody tells you about it, it explains the price action perfectly. You know, basically all I'm saying here is the price started dropping with organic price action, and then here someone's stop loss was triggered. It was a I'm making this up. It was a $10 million Bitcoin long. It got stopped out right here. So $10 million went short into the market and sold into the order book. The order book crashed. More long positions were stopped out, which means more long positions had to sell into the market. So the price kept on crashing. We found a little bit of support at this line right here. I actually thought that this is where it would stop, and that, you know, we might kind of be hanging on for a little bit. But, you know, it just fucked off again, and it's just jumped off a cliff again. And that is, you know, your classic sign that this is it. You know, and there's still a lot more longs, you know. I mean, A lot of the longs have closed, don't get me wrong. We were at a much crazier percentage just a day or two ago, but it's still not 50-50, and it's quite far off 50-50. It's not at a ratio of 1 to 1. It's at a ratio of 1.5 to 1. So, we've still got quite a little bit of work to do here, and the price still has a lot more that it can drop. So, don't shoot the messenger, but, I mean, this is just the setup that we're in, ladies and gents. We've lost our support yet again. We've lost the channel that we were in, the ascending channel. We've lost the triangle. We've been rejected off the VPVR. We've been rejected off the daily EMA ribbon. We've been rejected off the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud. Need I say more? This is a bearish fucking pattern right now, and it's probably going to have to find some sort of resolution down at our support levels. Now, if we move over to the support levels and talk just a little bit about what we're going to be seeing over here, this green box is really important for the price, because the one thing I want you guys to be aware of, and again, this is something I've been saying for an incredibly long period of time, my analysis does not change, my titles and thumbnails change, you know the deal, I'm playing the game, but my analysis don't change, and the thing about this analysis right here that I've been sharing with you guys for some time is that the 25k level is our most important level. We're all in agreement about that, but the thing is that really good support for Bitcoin does stretch all the way down to this range. And you can see it all the way back in 2020. We actually consolidated here for a week. This is actually, by the way, exactly where I took a long position on Bitcoin and produced one of the biggest gains in my life. I shared that, of course, like all other trades inside of the VIP group, which you can join by following these steps on screen right here, or the Telegram links like right here. It's the same thing. And if you are, again, interested in taking advantage of the market, you can just pause this video right here and claim your over $70,000 in bonuses with Bybit. You're going to get your up to 30k in bonuses just by depositing and starting trading. That's it. When you start trading, they're going to give you money that you can trade with, which is very, very cool. By the way, the Bybit giveaway is over. I have all of the user IDs. I just haven't actually done it on video yet because I've been super busy. Probably going to be tomorrow, so bear with me, guys. I'm very sorry about that, but everything is ready. We've got it all. So that is ready to go. I just literally need to do it on video with you guys because I want to select it live. The only thing I have to think about, and one of the reasons I haven't done it yet, by the way, is because I've got user IDs, right? So I don't want to like start fucking posting everyone's Bybit user ID on YouTube, so I need to figure out like the privacy things here and just make sure I'm respecting everyone's privacy. So that's really, really important. And I want to select it on camera. So that's the predicament I'm in, is I don't want to fuck up the privacy thing, but I don't want to like select the winner off camera. So I have to figure that out. If you guys have suggestions, let me know. But anyway, I think I've already got it. I just need to do it when I'm done traveling here. But definitely check out these links if you are interested. Huge bonuses available. And like I said, if you want to trade all the other markets that are in traditional finance, you have so many options available on BingX without even KYC. It's absolutely insane. So it is well worth checking out. But again, let's move it back to the price action here and just kind of understand a little bit more about this price range. Like I said, we did consolidate up here back in 2020 when we were rallying up, 2021, whatever it was, when we were rallying up above 20k for the first time in Bitcoin's life. But then in this price range, we also found a lot of consolidation. If you actually take a look at what the market was doing here, we had a decent amount of time that Bitcoin was just kind of consolidating in this price range right here, 32 days that we didn't really do much. If you measure it from high to low, it was only a 10% range that Bitcoin was in. I mean, it wasn't hugely different to this kind of consolidation. It just happened in a bigger range. And so, this clearly tells us that this is an important level in the market. And the same thing happened here. And the bottom of this line is where it stops. This is also what makes it really interesting. This is where we found resistance, and support. And resistance, so the bottom of this green box is important. I don't draw these lines and these boxes in ways that just make me feel happy. It's important that it actually makes sense for the charts, and here it certainly does, in my opinion. It certainly does look like to me that Bitcoin has a good amount of support that stretches all the way down, in this case, to $22,500, and not necessarily significantly lower than that. But the thing that's important is that if we do end up coming down here with all of these long positions that might end up getting stopped out, we could see a really big sell-off. Not only that, we could start seeing panic. It's easy to talk about a $25,000 Bitcoin when you're sitting up at $28,000, $29,000, but when this is becoming a reality right now, are we going to see people panicking? I don't know. I don't necessarily think so. I don't really feel like there's a lot of panic, but that's just me, and I don't talk to degenerates, so I can't tell you how degenerates think, but I have to imagine that a little bit of panic is going to set in the market, because this is still a $6,000 drop from the high. And again, the reason I'm bringing this up is deviations are Bitcoin's love language. If there's any tagline for my YouTube channel over these last few months, it is that. You know, we've known very clearly that $30,000 represented by this yellow line that I've just drawn, which I'm actually going to change to a red to a red line. You know, $30,000 is an incredibly important level. We all knew that. You know, but still we deviated above it. We traded above it by a few percentage points and for a few days. So by all by all measures, this was something to pay attention to. Not necessarily a breakout, but certainly something that was worth paying attention to, but it turned into a deviation. We had this beautiful area of support that lasted quite a while for Bitcoin. We were able to use it for 50 days, but then we formed a huge deviation. We absolutely fell right out of it, and then we moved up from there. Now, the thing about these patterns is that this is where the money is made, right? If you're able to identify these kind of patterns, that's where you make the money. The only reason I was able to enter this amazing long position is because Bitcoin gave me this deviation, right? Bitcoin gave me this deviation, so I entered right here at this circle because I knew that this is Bitcoin's love language, and because of that, because I understood Bitcoin's characteristic, because I've been studying it and I've been focused and I've been watching how Bitcoin behaves, I was able to see it reproducing the same characteristics in the field in real time. So I was able to enter that long position. Again, that was a very public position. It was one of the most public positions I've ever taken in my life, and it's also become one of the best profits I've ever seen. In fact, probably the highest profit percent I've ever seen in my life, because it's 400. It went above 400%, which is absolutely insane. That is a 5 times return on the capital that remained in my position at that time. Absolutely insane. This trade was made on Bybit, which is the exchange that's giving those $30,000 in free trading cash bonuses to everybody who qualifies for it. So that is very, very cool. Again, it just depends on how much you deposit and then when you start trading. So definitely do check it out. You're going to get some money deposited into your account that you can trade with. But again, it's these deviations that we really need to be keeping an eye on, because these are where people get stopped out a lot. These are where people find a lot of problems, but it's also where the opportunities lie. And what I'm saying is that this is the support area, but a deviation below makes a lot of sense. And when you consider that this is actually a really nice support area for Bitcoin, it wouldn't even be a bad thing to happen. You know, if we look at it on the Ichimoku cloud, the thing that I really like is that the Ichimoku cloud even has a budget for this. You know, the Ichimoku cloud actually stretches all the way down to 23.7, which is a really nice place to see Bitcoin bouncing off of. It's, again, where we've seen a lot of resistance in the past for Bitcoin, but also a little bit of support right here when we got the lift off. So this is an important level for Bitcoin, and it would be really nice to see Bitcoin just tag this area. The other reason I like it is it's probably going to mean that we fall to the other side of the extreme here. You know, for a while we've been a little bit too excessively bullish. If we fall below 25k, what do you think that's going to do to sentiment? There are going to be a lot of people that don't know what deviations are. Most people don't know. They still won't know. They're just going to think that it's fuckery going on. They won't understand what's happening or why it's happening or where to expect it. And that's where our edge comes in, because we get this stuff, right? We're talking about this on the YouTube channel. I'm spending, you know, a good percentage of this video talking just about deviations, because it's important, because it's one of the most important things to keep in mind. But a lot of people don't even know this. So when we get that, if we get that and we drop below 25k, there will be a little bit of panic, I'm sure, you know, and that panic is probably going to translate into some opportunities that are worth paying attention to. So I'm really interested in seeing what happens if we do end up falling down here and if we do form that deviation. What I want for my comfort is for it to be quick. You know, I don't want it to last a long time. This certainly did last quite a while. It was only like 4 or 5 days, but trust me, that feels like a while when the market is losing important support levels. You know, so hopefully it doesn't take too long. Hopefully it's just a wick that resolves itself on the same day, right? Hopefully it turns into one of these wicks, and hopefully we're asleep for it, right? That's the best situation, right? If Bitcoin does something crazy and you're asleep, you kind of just have a sigh of relief and you're like, okay, I wasn't awake to fuck something up. That's great. Trust me, guys, I know the deal. I know the deal. I've been the max level degenerate that you can. I've been the highest level of degenerate that you can imagine. And now I'm the most stable, calm trader that you've seen on YouTube. And that's what we're going for. You know, just kind of. Oh wow! I've just seen this. Look at this. We're just looking to be super calm and sensible about our decisions. But yeah, this trend line looks interesting. This might be something worth paying attention to. I don't think it is, to be honest. I mean, I just don't like where this trend line falls. Okay, if it was like over here that we might find support, then it makes a little bit more sense. But this is a little bit too high for me. You know, but again, I think it is going to depend on the dollar, right? Like this might not even need to get so bad if the dollar just kind of retraces around now where, you know, it is at resistance. The other thing that I did want to talk about is the possibility of a I can't speak now. Whoa. English, come back. Okay, I'm here. Is the possibility of Bitcoin moving up. And the reason that I wanted to do that is, like, even though I think it looks fairly likely Bitcoin's probably gonna, drop down, there are still possibilities that we can move up, and I have to cover them as part of being a responsible analyst. Now, the first thing I want to cover with you is that because we haven't actually swept this low, we are range bound. Nothing has actually changed from this particular perspective, and this is still a bearish perspective. I want you guys to keep this in mind. We actually did the exact same thing right here, but we moved up, which is highly unusual with these patterns. If we did that again, that would be highly, highly unusual. But we did move down. And the thing is that this is a bearish market, and we're now just kind of moving sideways. So again, this is almost always what precedes another move down. So, to me, it's still a bearish pattern no matter how I slice it. But what I like is that we haven't fallen out of it. So if we are range bound, we're going to be coming back up to the top of this range. Now, this is the thing, is that if we start moving up again, all of the resistance that rejected Bitcoin and that resulted in this move still exists there. It's still exactly the same, if not stronger. And so this is going to be quite problematic for Bitcoin if it does manage to get up here. The good news for Bitcoin is we have tried a lot, right? I mean, in a fairly short window of time, within a week, basically, we've tried to break this resistance level 3 separate times. So, a fourth attempt, I mean, at some point our resistance does get weaker, right? But again, because there's so much lining up at the same place, I'm just not optimistic about it. The level that I told you Bitcoin needs to clear is 28.6. And at the moment, that's like $2,300 away. It's not close. This is like an 8-9% move away. Let's measure this real quick. This is, exactly between 8 to 9% away. And that's not going to be super easy to, and that's only to clear the resistance. After that, we can start talking about nice, easy rises for Bitcoin, right? So I just think that this whole setup is still too difficult for Bitcoin to pull off. And that has made me a little bit cautious and weary about the situation that we're in. And that's probably how I'm going to have to round this one off. I want to tell you that I'm seeing something bullish for Bitcoin, but, with the S&P 500 losing its ground, with the dollar being as high as it is, and Bitcoin falling out of like multiple bearish patterns on the same day, there comes a point where I just kind of have to tell you guys, like, look, there are still some things that could definitely be bullish in this market. That's why the price hasn't fallen in a straight line down to $0 or down to $25,000 yet. There are still bullish reasons. There are still things to be bullish about in this market. But, and this is a really important but, we do have, from my perspective, more negative things in this market. So I'm going to have to see how this plays out. And the biggest thing for me is the dollar. This is clearly happening because the dollar has been trending up. It's so obvious. I mean, you can't deny the data. It's right in front of you. The dollar moves up and Bitcoin moves down. And the dollar is now at a resistance level. So maybe it moves up a little bit more, maybe not. But if it does start to form a kind of retracement here, and especially if that retracement is big, I think Bitcoin's chilling. But if the dollar does break it, you got to strap yourself in, all right? Because this is going to be a big kind of jetpack move up here, and it's probably going to happen fairly quickly, all right? Just like this move. What we might end up doing is a shallow correction, something a little bit like this, and then right up here. Ideally, what I want to see is all the way down here. This is going to mean a lot of nice price action for the market. But a shallower correction, a correction which is not so deep, would probably result in the dollar just shooting on higher within the next couple of weeks. This would happen quickly. So it's all kind of lining up. It seems like it's coming around the debt ceiling news dates. So that's why I thought I'd give you my opinion on that. I hope you have enjoyed this one. It's definitely been a longer video. We haven't done something like this in a while. If you have enjoyed it, you know exactly what to do. Smash up those likes, ladies and gents. Do me a favor. Make sure you are subscribed as well if you haven't done so already. This is very time sensitive content. You want to show the algorithm that you want to get it right when it's due. And if you want to take advantage of the beautiful offers available to you in this market, you have so many bonuses available, over $70,000 just with the links down below. Prime XBT also allows you to trade traditional finance, and OKX's bonus, they're giving you up to 30k as well. This comes in the form of mystery boxes, so it doesn't even matter how much you deposit. If you've just registered, you get a mystery box worth 10k, and if you deposit anything $50 or higher, you get another mystery box worth 10k. So it's actually really easy to have a chance to win these rewards, even if you don't have large amounts of money to deposit. So this is worth checking out. They also have quite good trading fees. You're not going to be paying very much to trade, but all of these exchanges have great fees, which is what makes OKX even more impressive, because their fees are lower. So go ahead and check it out. If you have enjoyed this video, guys, you know what to do. Check out the links for VIP if you're interested in trading alongside me in this market. Obviously, things are very turbulent, very, very fun, and I am very much here ready to take advantage of the volatility in the market. I hope you have enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.